Hello everyone, and welcome to So Many Games, So Little Time. As usual, my name is Joachim, and I'm here with,
Evangelos.
as usual as well. So we are continuing our top 100 today, and it is from 70 to 61. Yes, if my face sometimes is brighter, it's because I'm skipping to the Excel file to make sure I get everything correct. So 70 to 61, yeah. I changed the game in the background. This time it's Brazil. Had nothing to do with the list, but I need to cover up the mess behind me because it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon because we just moved. So so I think aside from that, everything is still the same. So I suggest we just get on with it because people skip this part anyway. They're probably not even listening right now or watching. Okay, so let's begin.
Number 70.
It's a game I'm pretty sure is on your list. It's a game I introduced to you. Stan Kodansky again, and that's Nova Roma. Maybe a little lower than you thought. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a crossover.
Sure.
So, I know it's a game you tried to hunt down.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
you
for
couldn't
sure.
find.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's again like the other games we spoke about. There's nothing incredibly new in this game. There's a lot of like little mini games, like little fires you have to work on, but ultimately it comes down to the action selection mechanism. I think we spoke about it at the best games of the year, which is that grid where you put your worker down and whatever cross section is of, you're going to get those two actions.
Yeah.
And then the more workers you have on the corresponding row or column, you get to a stronger action. And then you get the emperor that comes in there and he blocks a spot, but also makes that certain spot, that certain row or column stronger.
Yeah.
And it's that delicious struggle about, I need this to do this action, but there's this juicier option available to me. If I don't take it, I'm missing out on the benefits of it, and if I don't do it, I'm allowing my opponent to take that benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
So sometimes you do suboptimal moves to get more, and it's that struggle, and then also there's so much going on, and you can't do everything. You got to choose what you want to do, which is again is the thing I love to do. You've got your own personal farm board to work on. You've got the map where you're moving around. You've got work assistance to buy. I'm sure we're going to talk about this game more later, but it's like that above medium weight Euro, which I really enjoy, but it all comes down to that action selection mechanism. In many ways, just like Rurik. Rurik has that incredibly interesting bidding mechanism. This one's action selection is excellent.
Yeah, I think that's also it's the strength of the game, but I think it's also at the same time a flaw because the games that are higher up, they have multiple parts that make it amazing. But this is, like you said, just like Rurik, is that one thing that's amazing, and everything around it is good. But you play it because of that nice selection system. It's actually right here. Here.
You did get it.
It's a mirrored thing, right? Yeah, I did get it. And and I like the different ways that you can go in. Also, the way it scores, that you have to make sure you get all those discs so you can put them on your little mosaic kind of thing.
Mosaic thing,
yeah.
And the Tetris style stuff when you're building buildings. So you got that little again, but it's also area control. There's so many clever little things there. Nothing incredibly original. Even the action selection is not original. I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Like that kind of thing before, right? where you put your worker, you get cross. Another game in my list in this top 10 will have that same mechanism. But we'll talk about that later.
And there's another one with Stefan Feld one. I don't think that's going to be in your top 100. That just also goes like this, and like also crosses two actions, and you then pass workers to the left and everything. That's a different one.
Yeah, I think like that. Yeah. So
I forgot the name.
But it's like a good salad. All these things put together. It's just a good game that way. So maybe that's why it's only at 70 because there's nothing incredibly unique. But for what it is, it's a great game.
But at the same time, it's also very easy to explain to people. I think the only thing that is slightly difficult is how your farmer board exactly works. That's the only thing that's maybe a little bit complicated. But even then, I think it's a very low entry, low bar to be able to play it, which I think.
But
Is
as I said
also,
before, even that mechanism with the farm is taken from the game Cuba, which is again another game I really enjoy.
yeah. So basically, and I think the reason why we talked about Novoroma a lot, and I've heard it here and there, but I think at the moment Stan Kordonsky games still kind of suffer from not being popular enough. So I don't think even Resurgence is going to be reprinted with a different cover and everything. I think to try to get some more buzz. So
More hype.
yeah.
I think it's because he self-published Nova Roma, so he's a
Mm.
small publisher.
Yeah, that's why it took so long for me to get it. But it's on Amazon now, though. I think it's easily gettable.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, that's how we'll talk about later.
yeah, I'm sure. My number 70 used to be number 2, then 21, then 37, and now 70. So it was my number 2 like 2-3 years ago, and I haven't played its brother yet. It's also a gigantic box. The first one's also a big box. It's Gloomhaven. That's my number 70. It could have gone even lower, but now it's stupid. But thanks to the table I have now, I feel like getting it back to the table is going to be a lot easier because I can just leave it there and then play later on. And I've mentioned it many times before. I just had a group that I played with that started off really nice but ended really badly, and I got like a distaste for the game. Then I didn't touch it for a long time. I even backed Frosthaven while I still had that distaste. So now I have both of them. I even tried to sell Frosthaven. In the end, it got cancelled last minute, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep both of them. And I still think it's a really good system. I still like the stories and everything. And I also think, if I'm not mistaken, this is our. Oh no, you haven't mentioned it, have you? No, you haven't mentioned it. So yeah, I just like the whole storytelling around it, the choices, because you have always. I mean, the story isn't that fantastic, but you can go different directions and unlock different missions, and of course the card system where you have to choose one top and one bottom, and then those go to the discard and your life at the same time, and always one card goes away when you long rest, all that kind of stuff. Dungeon crawler, I think I had a lot of fun with it. Also unlocking the new characters, painting them, and they all play very differently. People say, "Oh, you should just play the computer game, the Steam version. That way, you also get your Gloomhaven fixed." But I actually really don't want to. I want to play the physical one. I also have many upgrades for it: terrain, boards, like card stands and everything. So yeah, I have a bunch of upgrades. So it would be a shame to get rid of it. I will eventually get back to it. It's going down because I haven't yet. Yeah. So
the only really problem I actually have with Gloomhaven, which I think Frosthaven they say fixes, is that sometimes the missions are a little samey. Like go in there and kill everybody. And
but then
they say they
yeah. But on the other hand, they say that Frosthaven goes a little bit too far into the I'm going to be complicated just for complication's sake. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And the other thing is, I wish I had the minis, and I was going to back the minis on the Kickstarter, what was it, the backer kit, but it was just too expensive. I didn't buy them in the end. It was just really expensive for the miniatures. Yeah. But I did get the small box version. Have you got this?
No, I don't.
I'm going with me to South Africa to play. It's like the mini version.
Well, once you played it, we can do a podcast about how you feel.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Does it have minis?
Yes.
So we're gonna paint them first.
They're tiny though.
Oh my goodness! Yes. Well, there has to be. It's such a small box. It has to be tiny for sure. So yeah, I was really surprised they made the button ones. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Super tiny. Don't lose them. Okay, so that's my number 70, Gloomhaven. So Frosthaven is also included, and also the other one, the first one, it escapes my mind now with the books. Jaws of the Lion, that's also included, of course.
69.
My 69 is one of the first games I actually bought, and it was mainly the theme that got me into the game, and it's by Stonemaier Games, and that is Euphoria: Build a Better Dystopia.
Oh, I really want to play that.
Yeah, I should play. It is really good. First, it's just the theme as a literature teacher. I've taught dystopian novels all the time, and the theme really interests me. And the art is colorful, is beautiful, and it's got this tongue-in-cheek depiction of a dystopian world. But the game, when you play the game, is full of little Easter eggs, in which you see the darkness in the pleasant portrayal. But ultimately, the game comes down to a dice placement game, and it's also one of the first games in which you bump someone off. So you can put your dice down, and then someone bumps you off. So you don't get so you have this. It's a mechanic that I think Stonemaier started it, that later games copied, which is you have two options: place a worker or pull a worker. Pull all your workers off.
Yeah.
Right. So either when you place your work. So your actions either place a worker or pull all your workers off. So if someone bumps you off, they get the action, but then they give you back a dice that you can then use. So you don't have to waste an action of pulling them all off.
Yeah.
What's it? The pirate? The Viking games. Raiders of the North Sea. They do the same mechanic.
Yeah.
Similar, I think.
There's a space game that does it as well that I used to own, but I can't remember the name for the life of it. You also have all your dice or ships, and you also place them on the board, and you're basically trying to go to a planet, and that's like and they put like stuff down and everything. But space, it's not Space Empires. I don't know. I forgot what the name is. If anybody listens.
But so you get that basic mechanic. But also then the strength of your die. The die, certain spots need strength. And so you want your strength to be high. But if all your dice combined total, so what happens every time you get a die, you go roll it. And if your dice ever become too high, it means your population is too intelligent. And then they see that they live in a dystopian world, and they run away. So you lose dice. So you want more dice, but also at the same time, so you get more action. But at the same time, you don't want the right dice, and you want high numbers because they give you some more. They're more valuable. But then at the same time, you don't want them to be too high because if they become too high, you lose dice. Yeah. And it's fun. And it also follows the same. I think it's the first time we did it, where you race into a certain victory point number, and then you get to the person to get to that. So it's a game, and. No, it's a great game, and if you ever want to play it, I'm happy to host it.
Yeah, because it looks really nice, and I read about the mechanics before. I think the dice look really cool as well.
Yeah, because little gears.
And the funny thing is about now, if you if you don't say the full title and you just tell someone I'm going to play Euphoria, they're probably going to think you're going to be talking about a TV series instead of that kind. So you always want to say the full title, otherwise you'll be like, hey, no, dystopian, no. Okay,
that's a game. I'm happy to have my collection.
Okay. My number 69 is Thunder Alley. So that used to be 81, and now it's 69, so it went up. And Thunder Alley, of course, is a racing game like NASCAR, basically. There's even one track where you just do circles, but there's also a different track where, of course, you have more turns and everything. And what I like about Thunder Alley is that you don't have just one car. You have like a squad of cars, like a bunch of cars. And basically, there's a lot of dragging, because like drag racing, right? NASCAR and so on. So if you play the correct card at the right time, you can drag a bunch of people with you and leave the other people behind. And there's also wear and tear. So some of your cars can blow up if you're not careful. There's event cards and so on. And yeah, it's constantly jostling for position. You can also have like a championship and everything. You can play it solo as well. And I do remember once playing it with 6 people. That was kind of a mistake because not everybody knew what the game was. And some people were like, I don't like this. So that was not fantastic. But if it's people who know the game, then it can really shine. And like I said, I like racing games. There's a bunch of them on my list. And Thunder Alley is one of them. And also even like each race is different, has like different race driver names and a different team name. It looks different. And the funny part is, because you got so many cars, you need to remember who you moved before. The cars have 2 sides, like a white and a black one. So you just flip them over after you move them. So it's clear to see who has moved yet and who hasn't. So I like that kind of bit as well. Of course, it stops the ability of having an actual car on the track because then it's more difficult. But yeah, and also you can use the original tracks of Grand Prix, the racing game, for Thunder Rally. Not that I did that, but the option does exist. So yeah, I think it's not a difficult game to understand. It's fun, and yeah, it's another type of racing, and I like to race. So that's
Yeah, I
69.
remember playing with you I remember playing with you a few years ago. I did enjoy it.
Yeah. So that's it. 69. Thunder Rally.
Number 68.
It's not okay. First thing, a couple of years ago, I know a game that you really like, which might be on this list, which is Firefly. I played with you. I really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the mechanics, but I found it to be too long.
Yeah.
And also, I've never watched a TV series, to my shame. I know I should watch it. So the IP never really jumped at me. So this game is probably very similar. I don't know if you quite guessed it, and that is Star Wars Outer Rim.
Yeah, I guessed it.
Which is basically Firefly, but in the Star Wars universe. Maybe not as, I think shorter, but not a lot shorter, but shorter than Firefly. But it's exactly the same type of game. You're going around, pick up and deliver, going on adventures, meeting characters from the universe, interacting with them, interacting with each other, getting chased by the Federation. It's everything that you enjoy in Firefly in a pick up, deliver, open sandbox world. And I really enjoy it. And the expansion came out, and the expansion added more cards, more stuff. It added a career mode kind of thing where you had to hit certain goals for each character. No, I really do enjoy it. I think you would like it as well if you ever got to play it.
Well, yeah, it's like I wouldn't go as far as call it a reskin, but it's very similar to both of them, right? And so yeah, I'm pretty sure I would, because I like Star Wars as well. So, but the reason why I didn't buy it is because I have Firefly already, and I thought they were too similar, so I didn't go out of my way to buy it. I can, however, lend you the Blu-ray box of Firefly if you ever want to watch it.
I should actually watch it. To my shame, but that's it. I really enjoyed Firefly. When I played it with you, and I was actually contemplating getting it, but I said I didn't have that attachment to the IP, and I thought it was a little long. I think there was that.
Well, I do agree.
I think the end game does drag. I think the end game does drag. I don't know if expansions fix it. I know there's lots of expansions.
A lot of them, but yeah, it does make it more interesting. Yeah.
But when I got Star Wars Outer Rim, I felt that was what I wanted. Yeah. Did you back the the fancy box?
No, because I already had the fancy box. I had the broken token, wooden crate with everything in it already.
Nice.
So
nice.
I think I might miss some cards here or there, but I think I've got like 90% of everything that there is. So I was like, I don't need to have more. It's fine. It's good enough. I thought about it, but I was like, no. Okay, my 68, I imagine, will be on your list, but of course, I don't know. It's Eric Lang, and I think it's probably the only Eric Lang that I have on my list, or at least that I'm aware of.
Really?
And that's, I think so, yeah. It's Blood Rage. So, or I just don't know that he designed some other games that I own, maybe.
There's another game I thought you maybe don't own it. I thought you might not own it.
Maybe you can just point out like, hey, Eric Lang did this one too, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't know, whatever. He designed so many, Anyway, so he, not he, but yeah, Blood Rage, I really like it. I don't play it nearly enough as I should. Like I have the expansions, but I haven't even touched them. I only played the base game. But every time I do play it, I think it's really awesome. I think the first time I played was your copy, if I'm not mistaken, at a board game cafe. That was already awesome with 5 people. And then I played a couple of times more at home with friends. And yeah, it's just a really good game. It's not difficult for new people to understand. I think the only thing that's more difficult for them to get is maybe the strategies. They're not... Like, for someone who plays first is not going to try the Loki strategy or whatever. They're not going to try that. But just the fact that you can build up your rage, and then you play like one of those special mythical monsters, like the big guy with the rock over his head, and like a bang, everyone here is dead now. So all those kind of things, and you're trying to fight in different places, trying to collect all the tokens and so on, and then slowly near the end, the whole world's gonna blow up with the, what's the name again when it happens?
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok happens, and then all that kind of stuff. And sometimes even you put people there to fight, and then no one's there to fight. And you're like, I can't get this thing until we fight. So, so things like that. So yeah, I think pretty straightforward, not that difficult, and nice table presence, good production, a lot of strategy, and also choices, because when you do the drafting and everything, and you need to choose which card, and you have to pay for them as well. It's not always as easy as you think it is. So yeah, that's why I like Blood Rage.
Yes, I'll definitely talk about it later.
I need to buy an insert for it as well, because I have the expansions, but they're also in separate boxes, so they need to be condensed. Yeah.
Number 67.
Okay, my 67 is a game that it's actually getting a reprint, because Tasty Minstrels games doesn't exist anymore. And it's one of those. Okay, first thing I'll say is that it's Yokohama.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Have you played it before?
No. It's the one with all the pieces, right? All the
yes.
different
When you look at
divisions.
it, it's incredibly daunting. You've got this grid of multiple locations that's put in this weird grid. The grid changes according to the player count, and the idea is that you're placing workers on the board on each location, and then you have this like a chairman or whatever it's called, and you move them across the board, and he has to move across wherever there's workers. He can only follow a path where there's workers, and wherever he lands, he does the action on that land, on that tile, and the amount of workers already on that tile determines the power of the action.
Okay.
So it's interesting. Like you say, you put down three workers. It's like this weird, like almost like a Mancala system. You put 1, 2, 3, and you put your worker there, and you move them around.
No.
And it's this really interesting, like puzzle working out how you're going to do the pickup and deliver. Okay, I need fish that's over there. I need to collect that fish in order to sell it over here to make money. So you move it from there. So it's a spatial puzzle of where you trying to work out where everything is. And then when you go to a certain location, then you can put a house there, so that if anyone else comes there, they have to pay you, or at the same time you get an extra power there. You also get in you're buying cards, technologies, which also get very powerful. It's very much interlinked with these different mechanics, and it can be daunting, but it's also a very interesting puzzle in the game for me.
Does it take long to play?
Let's see what BGG says. I don't think it's that long. I think it's about 2 hours. It's 90 minutes. 2 hours. Yeah. You always got to add the 30 minute tax.
Yes.
But there's a lot going on. But it's like I've played Istanbul. It's like that. You're moving your guy around. But it's a lot more complicated than Istanbul. But you've got to try and map your moves out three turns in a row, because I really need to go here to get that. Then I've got to go here to get that. Do I have enough resources to do it? And will I be able to get there? And will I have enough money to win? Because sometimes you go past someone, you pay money. It's really good. And you're always trying to complete these contracts. So it's always this rush to try and complete these contracts. So it's a really good game. It's on Board Game Arena if you want to try and play it.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to learn it. You froze for a minute, but I don't think that's a problem, because since we're recording both here and there separately, I'll have whatever you said anyway. Yeah, so that's fine. So if it ever freezes, don't worry. Just keep talking, because or the other way around.
Yeah, I told you my internet was unstable for a few seconds. But
okay.
Great game.
It's okay. Okay, my number, and by the way, it's also something that I'd be willing to try, Yokohama, just because it looks so crazy. Actually, I think most people would be like, "Whoa."
As I said, there's a new version
Yeah.
coming out with slight tweaked art. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that
It
one.
doesn't. I saw it. It doesn't really look that much more inviting, It's just like what? But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it makes sense that it doesn't look much different in that way. But
Yeah, because also the other thing is the other reason why it's because it's also random. So yes, the crazy boards going over makes the game totally different every time you play.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes,
that makes it way more interesting too. Yeah.
Yes, so the board will always be different. Like one game, the two fishes might be together.
Yeah.
Or another game, they might be way apart. So it's just, I think it adds to the game.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Now my third try. My number 60. My number 67 is Gugong. Yay, Belgium. Although I think it's Game Brewer, right? I think they're out of business now. So maybe
they did.
Belgium then.
Yeah, which is sad. I'm disappointed.
It's too bad, yeah.
I was actually sad to hear that.
Yeah, of course. It's always sad when studios have to close down. So, but at least they did manage to deliver quite a couple of gems. For me, the highest one will be Gugong, and I remember also playing that at your place the first time, and I just think it's really cool. It's typical worker placements, different areas. You can get the jade stones, which you in the beginning think like, "Wow, it's so pretty. This must be super important," but it's not nearly as important as you think it is. So, you have the seafaring track. I mean the river track. I think it's called. And what I like is you need to go up the stairs in the central track, like the track to heaven or whatever it's called. Or the Emperor track, and then if you go all the way to the top, you can win the game. If you don't reach the top, you cannot win the game. You're out of the game already. There's a building section, and also you have the card system, because in your hand there's cards with actions on them, and if you play them in the correct spot, you can do and the action on the spot and the action of the card. But it's like a gift, so you always have to play. Is it higher than what's there? And then you take the card that's there in your hand, and your card then stays there, so other people can potentially pick it up. But then those cards are also important at the end of the round, because there's dice that were rolled, and if you have those numbers or whatever, you get extra points and stuff like that. And you've got what I really like is you've got the double workers, and there's literally two meeples like stuck together. It's just like, and it makes it more powerful. You can put out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I still haven't played the expansion or the solo mode, which I should remedy. But so many games, so little time. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's really
great.
cool. Yeah,
the expansion is great. It makes the one thing you say you like the Emperor track. It makes the Emperor track more difficult, which is what we want almost, because ultimately the Emperor track is quite easy to do in the end.
Yeah.
The expansion makes it more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'll be talking about this game later too. It's a great game.
Okay, it's good for you then for the crossover track, but. Yeah, so that was my number 67, Gugong.
Number 66.
Sometimes games, you do these blind spots for my games, and this is one of the greatest games which I never played, but this is not that game. So the game I never played was Terra Mystica. I never got around to it. I just never got around to it. And I haven't even played Gaia Project either.
I was about to say it's Gaia Project.
No, it's actually Age of Innovation, which I did buy and I did play and I did love.
Okay.
And the main reason why I didn't play it is because I always felt that Terra Mystica was very similar to another game, which I'll talk later on this list.
Oh, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Can I interrupt you for 1 second? Google was my 67. It was my 67 last year too.
Oh, on the
really
spot,
weird. Yeah, okay, continue. Sorry, I just needed to mention that. It's so weird. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, anyway, I played Terra Mystica. I've played Age of Innovation, which everyone says is a more not streamlined, but like Terra Mystica 2.0, which is just they tweaked some of the rules. They've added a lot of things into it. Some of the things that they saw in Gaia Project they added into this game, and I had different ideas. And so I can't really speak about how it's different to Terra Mystica, but what I can say is that I really, really enjoyed it. Have you played Terra Mystica before?
I haven't played Terra Mystica. I tried a couple of times on the app, but it didn't really work. I played Gaia Project once, but I played it with Kine for the OGs of the
Mhm.
channel who still remember Kine. But he was way better than me, so I basically got destroyed.
Yes.
I only halfway really started to understand what it was. So I don't know. I wasn't really that impressed, but I think I just need more plays, to be honest.
I think it's the same because I played also. You struggle in the beginning to get because you got to get the networks going. You got to build. In this game, you got to build your buildings on your locations, or you got to terraform them into your type of land.
Yeah.
But with the added to this game, you have technologies. So there's still first thing they got the action selection is like a game that you've spoken about, and the game I'll be speaking next, where you're moving discs around a little board to do your actions.
Mhm.
Yeah, the next game will be our first crossover. But
Oh.
so the action selection of moving these discs around these 3 bowls, which is very interesting,
Yeah.
and also the whole network building where you're building buildings and trying to connect them together and also the interaction's really good because if you build a building next to someone else, you get to trade with them and get what they got. But in this game also you get technology tiles which you use to add power, to give yourself power, and to also victory points conditions. It's just a lot going on. Also, the great thing about this game is the asymmetry. So you get the territory you terraform on, you get your power, your person, and you get your race, and there's lots of combos that'll make the game a bit different every time you play. So it's a game I really want to keep trying.
Well, I almost played it with you, remember? Because it was at the expo and we were
That's
going
right.
to try, but there
That's
was
right.
never a table available. So in the end, we didn't actually try it. So but did you pick it up there as well? Did you buy it there?
No, I didn't buy it because I'd already ordered it. I actually
yeah.
received it the Friday before we went
Okay.
from our supplier. So then, which is actually better because I didn't have to carry it back.
Supplier, your dealer. It's okay.
My dealer, our dealers.
That's true, yeah. Mine too sometimes. All right. So yeah, that's a
it's
game.
a really good game.
Funny enough, we met like I don't know, almost 11 years ago when I first started Gamers on Board here in Hong Kong. And one of the people there, Allison, name drop, if she listens, she then told me, yes, for sure. She then told me, you really need to play Terra Mystica because it would be totally your thing. And I have never done it. So I do want to play either Terra Mystica or Age of Innovation, but Age of Innovation looks a little bit more appealing, I have to say. So
I think a lot of people say you might as well just forget Terra Mystica and just go straight to Age of Innovation because it's basically the same game, just adds new things, new ideas.
My number 66 is used to be 9, then 43, then 95, and now it's back up to 66. And that's Dungeonology. Now, from Ludus Magnus Studios, the Italian guys. I have a bunch of games of them on my list. But this one, have you ever played it?
No.
No. So what's special about this is it's a dungeon crawler, but it's not a dungeon crawler because you are going around. You have your own character. Everybody has their own character, and you're not actually fighting monsters. You're studying them. You're following the subject dungeonology. So you're trying to get research about all these dungeons. So you're checking out basically what you're doing is you're collecting cubes. You have your powers that you can use. You're trying to avoid the big boss because there's one big boss. It's always nice miniatures that going around and they can knock you out and stuff. And at the same time, you're also trying to mess with the other people around you. You're trying to steal the cubes from them or trying to get faster. You're discovering new areas. So you're placing new tiles, very vibrant, very pretty. They're also the first minis that I ever painted. So of course it has a special place in my heart. I already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. The minis are fantastic. But Ludus Magnus Studios by now is also pretty known for having amazing miniatures. There's so many expansions as well, and they're all pretty nice. I can also play them all solo pretty well. Of course, it's better with other people, but with other people it can get mean just because you can play certain cards to try to, like for example, when you're trying to get the cubes, you have to play cards to make sure that you have enough insight or whatever. But then other people can choose to play cards from their hand to make it more difficult for you. But if they do, and it comes around to their turn, they have less cards for themselves to perform actions with. And one thing that I like about it as well is the catch-up mechanic. So you're trying to get 3 stars, and then you have to deliver your thesis, right? But let's say I have 1 star and none of you have a star, then all of you become exalted or something. So basically, you flip your card of your character, and suddenly your character has like steam coming out of their eyes. They become like super Goku style or whatever, and you're way more powerful. But you lose all your powers the moment you also get a star. So it's like a temporary boost to make sure you kind of catch up. So you're still behind, but it makes it, And there's also a time limit. If at one point you don't get the stuff, there's a card gets flipped over and says, okay, now the dungeon is slowly going to, and something's going to happen. Like maybe tiles are starting to get destroyed, so you have to get to the exit as quickly as possible, or the boss will get you or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff. But like art-wise, it makes me think of World of Warcraft and so on, so very vibrant and everything. It's pretty. I would say, I don't think it gets that good of a score on BGG, but I don't know. It says 6.7, so it tends to be okay. But I just really like it. Another thing that I want to mention before we continue is that with the next number is that you have this bag of students, and you have your own students that work for you, and you basically sacrifice them throughout the game to do certain actions. And then you have to take students out of the bag, and if you draw like a red one, it's basically one of the evil faction, and they will increase the speed of the game, so you don't want them to come out. But of course, you're pushing your luck and stuff like that. And silly me, I wanted to make it more interesting, so I painted them all in different colors instead of just one color. And then the expansion came out with all these colored students with mechanics attached to them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So now I still have to paint these and whatever. So yeah, anyway, I really like it. It has a special place in my heart because it's the first one that I painted. So I'm of course never going to get rid of it. Some of them look horrible because they're my first painting ones. But yeah, it is what it is. Dungeonology, 66.
So, number 65 is our first crossover, which we will definitely get to 18, and that is Vindication.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. And I remember when I first played this game, it was not my copy, and I was playing it, and you know that feeling when you're playing the game and you go, oh, damn it, I'm going to have to buy this game. Because I was going to buy it because I thought when I didn't back it on Kickstarter, and then when I was playing this game, I realized just how good it was, and I really wanted it. I backed the second Kickstarter. There's been a few of them since, because now it comes this massive box with massive layers, and it's got so many add-ons. But the game itself it's strange because there's this really awesome theme, and in some ways the theme doesn't suit the game. Because the game ultimately has this like Terra Mystica moving cubes around. 3 balls, right? It's the same technique where you're moving, and it's got some names for each thing. Like this is your honor and your prize, or it's just colors, whatever.
I think if you take the whole world, and you put a different mechanic on it, so the miniatures could come out, and you have like more like adventures or whatever, then that would shine a lot more. Now you have to imagine it a little bit.
It almost begs for a adventure style, game. But despite of that, the game is still so much fun. For just literally a cube pushing, it's literally you pushing cubes. Everyone says a cube pusher. This is literally you pushing cubes around a little rondel. It still feels like you're exploring a world and doing interactions with monsters and meeting people and getting your steed. The first time you get your upgrade your movement, you're so excited because you got your flying horse or whatever it is, or flying insect. And and then when you become honorable, you flip your guy over and he's better. The game has no theme, yet it is thematic. And I really enjoyed for that.
I think something they could do is similar to what Roleplayer did with Roleplayer Adventures, is when you finish Vindication, the game, you've got this person with potential pets and allies and everything, and then that group can go quest. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now suddenly it's a dungeon crawl or whatever, and
And the weirdest thing is they've got these beautiful miniatures, which
Yeah.
never come into the game, barely come into the game. Yet
Yeah.
your own character is this little metal disc.
Yeah, true. Yeah, metal stand. Yeah,
It's weird,
yeah.
you know. That you should have your guy's not even your guy in the board is not even a miniature yet. It's not even a standee. It's a little disc.
I think even the solo one is just something you put in the middle and it never moves or something like that. It's something like
Yeah.
also really, really ridiculous. And there was like one mini that you could back, and then it was just a mini. Like in the end, it didn't have anything, not even a card. Just like, oh yeah, you have another pose of this guy. So I just gave it to my daughters who played with it because it didn't even fit in the box.
But it's a testament to the game that how good it still is.
Yeah. I haven't played it in years. It's still in my top 100.
I know. But even if it was like set in some boring trade Mediterranean theme, it'll still be fun because the mechanics are fun.
Yeah.
But the theme elevates it into another level.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Vindication.
Because even like I said, it could potentially be pets, it could be equipment, it could be people helping you. There's so many different decks.
There's also curses and
different decks where you can get cards from.
And now there's a narrative. Now they've got a narrative to it. I think I haven't even touched the expansion, but there's an expansion with like a narrative element with the stories.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I haven't
really
touched
cool.
it. Yeah. And like I said last
That's
time,
there's so many expansions. It's a little intimidating now. It's become intimidating.
Yeah, except when you have the
Look at
big box and you miss one that I realized when I got the big box. I'm like, why didn't I get this? Check order. Oh, I didn't order it.
I hate when that
Rectify that one day. But
yes.
Yeah, first crossover.
Official crossover Vindication.
Yeah. Okay. So my 65, I think, will be a crossover. You haven't mentioned it yet, but it is all about Vikings going out on trips. It's Champions of Midgard. Just rolling those up, of course, with the expansions. Has to be. Basically, it killed Lords of Waterdeep for me. I prefer this one over Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep also needs the expansions, but anyway. And just the fact that you can you basically prepare for your trips. Either you go to the mountains or you go across the sea. Both of them are like push your luck because you have to make sure you have enough food and people. And if you flip the card, it might be that suddenly you lose some people or whatever, and you still have to fight those enemies that are there. And it's also kind of a race because everybody else is trying to do the same thing, and if they take certain tracks, then you can't go there anymore. So it's you have to watch out for that too. Everyone has their own asymmetric power as well, and special die, the blue die of your leader. And
that's expansion,
yeah. But the expansion also introduces Valhalla. So if your people die, they are still useful because then it becomes like set collection. Like, okay, I'm just going to send these guys here and I hope that one dies because I need that one here to get these points. And in the beginning it was like just really bad when you lost them, but now it's like, yeah, it's okay. It's, it still gives me stuff, so it's like I can deal with it. Nice production and everything. So yeah, just a nice, solid worker placement game. Not too difficult to understand. Pretty tight when it comes down to worker spots because the spots are what they are and no new ones are added throughout the game. So you're always fighting over those spots as well. So yeah, really, really a game that I enjoy.
It's a game I introduced to you, I remember.
Yeah. Even my wife liked that one. Yeah,
that's right. She came to.
She said, "Yeah, you should buy that one," and then we never played again. That's from many years.
We will talk about this game later as well.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. And that was number 65 for me.
64.
There's a game I thought would be higher actually, but anyway, I said it's for most of my games, and that's Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yes.
The worker placement with the deck building worker placement game. I don't. You're not so crazy about the game, but I really do enjoy it. Especially with the expansions, which gives you player powers. It elevates the game to another level because you now have your own personal decks. You have a very unique mechanism It's not just a deck; it's also a unique play, like a mini game, and
Yeah.
that really pushes the game further. And it's what I like about it is that it's very tactical because sometimes you place like a block, but you always have options. The cards give you options,
Mhm.
and you always have an option. Okay, I can't get the tablets, and okay, what do I do now? Okay, I can go do this now, and you're working with the cards you have, and you get the dopamine hit of building up your deck, getting the card that gives you the power, so you can use it now. Do I get it? Don't I get it? So you get all that. You get the tension of the worker placement because the places are tight. You get the track to work up, and you got to make the resources in order to move up the track. But when you move up the track, you get other resources that you can use here. There's always like these little combos getting there. Say, if I do this, I can do that, and then when I get that, I can use it to play that. And you're trying to elongate you stretch out your turn by, okay, if I move this, I'll be able to get those compasses, and I can be able to use those compasses over here. I can buy that car, and if I go buy that relic, I'll be able to do this then, and then it's all you always feel clever because you always find these little solutions for your current problem.
Yeah.
It's very, as I said, it's very tactical, and it's very light. It's not that difficult to teach. It's not that heavy, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not a long game. I really enjoy it.
Well, I've played it like at least 5 or 6 times and won several times as well. So it's not like I'm against the game or I don't necessarily really dislike it or whatever. I just always felt a bit too samey, but I'm only talking about the base game. Like always, like okay, I need to get up that research track ASAP because if I don't, most likely I'm gonna lose. So and also the luck of the draw. You might hire a guy, and then the next one that's revealed is suddenly way better, and so they hire them, and then the one underneath.
That's every
Yes,
that's every
of course.
competitive deck builder. Every competitive deck builder has that problem.
Yeah, I agree. But then I don't know. For some reason, that bothered me more. I don't know. But it's true with the river or with like those kind of things. That's true. I don't know. I guess it's. I think, but people have just like you just said. The expansions do allow for a lot more options and freedom to do as you want. While I feel like the base game was a bit too restricted. If it was fun, I'm not gonna say it's a bad game, not at all. But I felt
the second expansion, which is a solo cooperative narrative one, is really really good.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's like a mini campaign that's really good too.
Yeah, I can't speak on that, so yeah, I believe you, but yeah, I think it's a good game, but yeah, I don't know. My number 64 has been on my list for quite a while. The same as Champions of Midgard, actually, but I won't go back there. It was 26, 35, 52, and now 64, so it is going down. And it's the Artemis Project. So it's a little bit similar to what you said about not really bumping dice off because it's dice placement. So you do roll your dice, and then you have to place them. And the thing is, for example, if there's you're trying to collect resources and people, and then trying to build buildings and trying to get points and sending them on expeditions, basically. Now, for example, let's say you want to go to the mine. If you put 5, you're going to get 5 resources, right? But if someone then puts a 4 there, they're going to go before you, but they're only going to get 4. But if there's only 7 there, that means that with your 5, you're only going to get 3. So if there's somebody else who then puts a 2, then suddenly it's 2, 4, and 5. You end up getting 1, while the other 2 got 2 and 4. So, and that is for all the locations. Some of them you want to go lower, some of them you're going to go higher. It depends. And then you've got also these different characters that you can use, like I forgot the name, but basically like there's a military guy, there's a science guy, there's a colonist guy, and they have like the different things that you can add. Like some are really good to send up expeditions, some might give you more resources or whatever, things like that. And you also have to put them in the buildings that you buy, so that those buildings are operational. So they might give you other resources, special abilities, or points at the end of the game. That's another cool thing. I think the game is 6 rounds. The first 3 rounds you're buying buildings that are under the ground, and the next 3 they're all above ground. So you're basically trying to go to the surface, and visually that shows that every round there's an event card as well that will shake things up, and it looks nice. I think it looks good enough, and I really like the solo version because the solo version is very simple. You just take the dice of a color that's not playing. You roll them, you place them according to the rules. Then you place your die, and then you take another color, you roll them again, and you place them again. So initially, you have to adjust to the first roll, and then hope the second roll doesn't do this or this or this. So it's always a lot of thinking that goes into every round, which I really like. It's not too long. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. The scores aren't that high, and even when you get bumped off a track and you get nothing, there's like a consolation track where you still get stuff until, of course, you reach the top. Then they stop giving you stuff. Basically, social security. Still don't have a job, you don't get anything anymore. But it's just a game I really like. Really, really love that game. And it's, even though with other people it's cutthroat because you're really taking stuff away from people, but solo works really nicely, and that's why I have to say I was disappointed with the follow-up. Artemis Odyssey was basically just a reskin from a different game and didn't really build up on that. Even though I have to play that game more, but I'm really on it at the moment. So anyway, that was my number 64, the Artemis Project.
63.
My 63 is actually an old game, which I really love. It's called Trois, which was remade and reskinned as Black Angel.
Yes.
But Trois is the one I prefer. And first thing, the aesthetic. It's got that medieval art, which is for the time period. So I find the look unique, and I really do like it. Some people don't, but I do. But the main way the game works, first thing, it's a worker placement. It's a dice placement game, right? And there are there's 3 or 4 rounds, and each round, the worker spots are cards that you put down face down. So there'll be level 1 cards, level 2 cards, level 3 cards. So every game, level 1 will be a different card.
Yeah.
So you flip it over, and that'll be your spot for this game. So in this game, money might be tight because the worker spot we got is this. So that's the first thing. And then also there's these invaders who come at. So they you got to take care of them. They also randomize. So the game's always totally random in many ways.
Oh, okay.
But what makes the game really unique is that you will put your pay for dice. So you get dice at the beginning. So you have certain buildings that you've bought. So you get certain type of dice because there's 3 different color dice. I can't remember the colors exactly. I think it's 3. There's colored dice that you buy that belong to you, and then you roll the dice and you put them in front of you. Now those rolled dice in front of you, you can use them for free. But the problem is, in turn order, someone else can take your die from you and pay you for it.
And you can't stop them.
You can't stop them. You get money from them. So if you roll high dice, you go, whoa, cool, I've got all these high dice. I can really go to town. But no, someone else will take it from you and just pay you. Okay, some money. So that's the whole thing. So it's kind of annoying that someone comes and buys your dice. So anyway, that's how that works, right? And then you take the dice and you put it in the location. And the higher the dice, the more you get. So maybe there will be cards as I can't remember. You'll get 2 money for every 2 pips or something, whatever. I'm just making that up. So 6 is really valuable there. So you go to 6 yellow because that yellow 6 can go to that worker spot because that worker spot needs yellow die, and then someone else can come steal it from you, right? Or it doesn't steal from you, he pays you for it. So that interaction is really good, and it was one of the first worker placement dice placement games, and it worked really well. Really good interaction, tension of where you want to put your guy, get there first. You got to take care of the invaders. You got to try and build the cathedral. All those your goodness, and the expansion, the Ladies of Trois was very good because there you get 1 die that belongs to you, no one can touch at least. So,
Oh, okay.
So yes, no, it's a very good game.
I was laughing because after you explained the mechanic of someone else buying your dice, I was like, so you really like playing that with our friends?
They you know, you get screwed. Especially when they look at you and they see, oh, you haven't got enough money
Yeah,
to buy my dice. Okay, I'm
yeah, yeah,
come
exactly.
on to you
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
So they'll,
So,
but no,
mhm.
it's but yes, but just it's interesting because money is very valuable. So yes, you're not getting your dice, but the money can be used for other things. So it does kind of bad, but doesn't hurt. Still hurts when they come and buy your dice.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. But then you know that we're going in, of course. So you have to just
Exactly. Yeah,
accept it.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, it's a great game. You should play it if you ever get the chance. I think
I think I
it's a
never
classic.
did
And
because it looks kind of ugly. But
it's historical. I think it
yes.
adds. I
Okay.
think it really do. I think it adds to the theme.
All right. So my number 63 is basically TCG, the board game. So basically, trading card games, the board game, and that's Millennium Blades. I got this huge
Still haven't
box
played
with
it.
all the expansions in it and everything. And basically, you're playing a guy who's gonna buy, or not a guy, a person, or a thing, whatever, who is going to buy packs of cards and create your own deck to fight in the tournament, which then will happen. And then there'll be another couple of rounds where you do the same thing and another tournament, and the game will be over. But basically, it's a time game. So you got 20 minutes, you get your money, 20 minutes. You start buying packs, you sell cards you don't need, get more money, buy new packs, and you're basically just frantically, well, it's 20 minutes, so maybe not as frantic as you would think. But anyway, you're really trying to create a deck that combos well with each other, and then think like, okay, this card is going to get me points for this. This makes it powerful more. The power increases the power here and there, and so on and so on. And it's very magic-y feeling. Like you also have like different types of magic and all that kind of stuff. But it's also just really funny because all the different types of decks there are, they are basically parodies. Like you've got like a Lord of the Rings version, you've got a Star Wars version, and of course they change the names around and everything. But you can immediately, with many of them, you can just look at it. Okay, that's this, or that's that, or whatever. And they've got so many expansions. You've got, of course, the rare cards, the uncommon, the common, the legendary, all those kind of things. You even have cards in your deck box, and every deck box is also different. Once again, a parody on something else. Like if you watch the unboxing video, you can see me trying to guess where some things are from, and then people in the comments are like, no, that's from this. Oh, okay, sorry. So it's fun to play. It's supposed to be irony that you're playing a board game in which you are playing a board game, well, a card game technically. And it's a lot of fun. It's more difficult to get to the table just because the box now is so gigantic, and that is a problem that I think you can also attest to. Sometimes the games that we love get too big, and it becomes a chore to get
Yeah.
them out of your house to play, and then it's just like Foundations of Rome I just got and I haven't played it yet, but I'm like, I am not taking this to a meetup because it's just too
Meetup,
big.
it's too big.
Yeah, so people have to come to my house to play. So,
Oh, get a wheelbarrow.
yes, yeah, that too. Yeah. Actually, there's the Kickstarter right now, which is so totally irrelevant because people might be watching this next year with where there's a board game bag on wheels. So there's always that. So yeah, that is Millennium Blades.
Is the game complete? Is the game complete now, or is it still?
Yeah, they did a Kickstarter not long ago, a couple of months ago, where with everything again together. But I checked, there was literally nothing for me to back because I already had everything. They even had like errata and everything last time that I backed. And even if they would come up with new stuff, I'm like, no, it's enough now. But yeah, they did another one. I think that they won't expand anymore on it. It's already so big. It's really not necessary, I feel.
62.
Was a game we did get to play at the Xemon Expo, and I'm hoping to when we go again this year. And
Town
you're coming,
77.
right?
No.
No,
Okay.
Barcelona, and I'm hoping the expansion will be there this year too. It's a game I really, really enjoy. And when I was talking about that's when I was talking about Arc Nova, about the interlocking actions, Barcelona does the same thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be on your list. I think you soured on the game.
Do you want to know what number it is?
What number?
126.
Jeez. No. It's much better than that.
It is.
And
It
I
is.
think
It is.
first thing, it's that say the length of Euro I really enjoy. It's okay by Daniel Garcia, another hot designer. His games, every game he comes up with now is worth having a look at. Another game I'm hoping to get that'll be at the Simon Expo is his new game, Windmill Valley, and it's just okay. First thing, it's a beautiful game. I really think it's pretty, but the main actions we've spoken about before when we did the best games of last year is you place the building there and you get the interlocking actions, and it's also cute building buildings there where you get the people there on certain I can't remember now, the 3 workers or whatever it is.
Yeah, you take 2 workers,
And
but they're like 3 different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colors, so it helps you build a block of buildings in that intersection.
Mhm.
And you got the what's also cool is that not only do you get the actions that intersect between the middle, you get the railway in the middle that gives you a second action if you go in the middle. But also what's also cool is that if you can totally randomize the actions, so the game is totally different every time. And yes, it does cause AP, but I do think it's because we played with AP prone players, especially,
Uh-huh.
which obviously that causes it to happen. But I just think it's a game, and that is also quite rewarding. That when you do something really clever, and really when you have a really good move, you get this ton of points.
Yeah.
And it's like a slot machine. When you really get it right, the lights go out, you go, you move up you jump up the points.
Yeah.
And you never feel like you're behind because you always feel like maybe I can pull it off. And when I pull it off, I'll get my ship will come in and I'll get all these points. I just think it's right up my alley. So, and then again, maybe there are some problems. I'm hoping that the expansion really pushes it because the expansion looks really interesting.
Yeah. Well,
So
like I said,
I think with expansion,
I enjoyed every play, but I also said I don't think I would play this with more than 2 people. And then maybe 3 if everybody 100% knows what they're doing and then are not AP prone. Because I think that was the biggest knock on it. And also the solo mode, I felt like I was able to game it too much. Like I know if I just do this, the solo guy will be over there, I can do whatever I want. And then so I didn't really feel like the solo mode was that good. But then I read online they have a new one or they modified it. So I haven't tried the modified version yet. So all those things might change. Like I'll play it with other people as well. Yeah. Like sometimes the game just clicks.
Is that you can't really plan your move. You can't really plan your move because it's reliant on what the next people do, which workers they placed out, which citizens they place out. So you've got to be. And I like the tactical aspect. I like the fact that you look at the boards. Okay, what do you know? You try to work it out.
Yeah, but then
I'm also sorry.
But that would be really good for solo wise. But the problem is now, like you said, the high that you get for getting the whole combo move is because you really want to find that one and you really keep looking. Because even I complained about the AP, but I also had AP. It's not because of the other people. I also had like checking like this. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, but wait a minute. And then after a while, I also feel like okay, I'm taking too long, and then you do a suboptimal move and you're like, oh wait, I only got 10 points and he just got 32 points in his round. Because the game gives you a lot of points, right? But
yes.
Yeah.
But also
so I think it's
really
I think it's a good game. I think it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't I just think it takes too long for me personally, and I don't know. It's maybe a bit too open or too many possibilities for.
Well, the expansion will add more things to worry about now. And it's got a street, which is about like a side streets now so there'll be something more to worry about with restaurants and coffee shops apparently. And it's about basically building places for people to go to. So there'll be more things to think about, more AP.
That's something we said as well. It would have been nicer if it was like a little bit cooler to place buildings, because now it's just like a tile.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, it's a good game. It's too low with the 126. I know. But anyway, no. My apologies.
As I said, I think ultimately it's a game. If someone said you want to play it, I'll say yes. I think that ultimately I would like to
Yeah.
play it again. I think that's ultimately a testament to what a good game is.
I would also still say yes, by the way. So, if people want to play or whatever, then it's fine. Okay, my next game, the 2062, will be a crossover eventually, I'm sure. You haven't mentioned it yet. I'm checking through the list. You haven't mentioned it yet. But it is all about time travel. And yes, it is Time Cop. No, it's an acronym. I think you'll
This
be
is
talking
way
about
too
maybe.
low, dude. This
Well-
is way too low.
Well, Anachrony, I'll tell you why though. It used to be 1532, now 62. The reason is I played it several times on BGA, and it's not nearly as good as BGA as in real life. On BGA, I found it kind of annoying, but I've started multiple games at the same time, so I think that kind of soured it a little bit. So I think it'll get back up eventually. But yeah. All the different things, the fact that you have your mechs that you put the people in, you place them on the board, they give you different actions, either research or building or getting goods or recruiting new people, and also the crunchiness of getting water, and the crunchiness of like, okay, where should I go first? Because if you play like 3 people, if I don't go there and they both go there, suddenly that action becomes quite bad. Also with the buildings that come out, okay, I really like that building, but I need to have the resources. So if I go there first, I get my choice. But if I go there later, I might have to just pick up the scraps. So all that kind of stuff. The fact that your people, they're in the beginning they're awake, but then they get tired, they need to sleep, but you can wake them up without giving them any food or whatever, and then they get annoyed, which will cost you points. Or you give them more water, so they get happier, which gives you more points. I have to go back in time. If you in the beginning of the round, you show your fist and you show how many goods or whatever you want to take from the present, I guess, because then you move forward, so it becomes the past. You have to go back in time to bring it back, and I think it's a really good game. But one of the knocks that I have on it is it's such a big box and it's so intimidating that I've always only played the base game. I haven't touched the solo mode. I haven't touched the expansions or whatever. And I should, and I'm sure when I do, it'll elevate it even more, especially solo, because it's supposed to be the Chronos box, supposed to be super good. But this is also because of lack of play, and then when I did play it, it wasn't that fun. So it dropped down a couple of places, but it'll probably bounce back up once I play more. So I'm just blaming BGA. So
I'm sure we talk about it later.
The last one of today, 61.
This is a game I've had for my collection. It's also one of the first few games I bought. I really love this game. It's not the greatest game in the world, but there's something about it. First, again, as an English teacher, a literature teacher, the game is Shakespeare.
yes.
I know I've played it with you, and I think it's out of print now. So that's why I'm glad I got it. And it's got a really good little mini expansion, backstage expansion. But it's just ultimately, it's just you trying to create a tableau, and with that tableau, you move up 3 tracks. And then those 3 tracks are like the acts. So ultimately, it's very simple. And also, it's very simple. And you also, you're building up pyramids. You're building tiles up a pyramid thing.
Yeah.
But the key, besides the art is gorgeous, and but the key thing of the game is that first thing you've got to bid turn order with actions.
Yeah.
And the less actions you bid, that determines your turn order, which is really cool. So you say you're building with your actions, they're really important. So you can get more actions, but then you won't get first dibs. But the other thing that really makes the game really cool is that your actions, you place them on your workers. So you got these like your cards or your workers, right? So you place a card and you do what it says. But what happens at the end of the round, you've got to take them off, but you've got to leave one behind. Which means that one action is not available to you the next round.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's also that choice, like what do I leave behind?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really need that action. So it's again, it's just it's above. It's basically a medium way above. It's above entry. Anyone can pick it up. I think I played with your wife, or did I play with Did I play with
No,
your wife? Or did I play
no,
with
no.
I think I played with someone else's wife,
No.
and they like it. It's accessible. It's a very welcoming. That's a new term they seem to use in the hobby now. It's a very welcoming game because I think
Yeah.
people like the theme, they like the art, and the actions are straightforward but yet tense and thinky.
Yeah, and it's pretty
Except when you
too.
have to pay your work. It's pretty, and especially except when you have to pay your workers, that's stressful. Because if you can't pay your workers, you fire them, right? They
Yeah,
got to go or
yes.
they leave. So no, it's a game I'm glad I have, and I wish I could play it. I wish I played it more because I really do. It's it gives me a soft, happy feeling when I play it.
Yeah, and apparently the expansion is necessary, right? It makes it so much
That
better.
makes the game even better. Makes it better. And I think
Back,
that one's almost
backstage.
impossible to find. I think that was almost impossible to find now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
might even go look
probably.
on eBay.
But how come it's out of print?
Yeah,
Is it by a company who's out of business or what? Or
maybe I
who
don't
did
know.
this? It's Starry Games.
A
Doesn't
story
sound
game,
very.
so they're still around. Maybe it's not out of print. Maybe it's just difficult to find. Well, it's actually going for $90 on eBay. The game at the base game.
Well,
So it's not, I guess it's not.
the last game by Starry's game is Shakespeare and Shakespeare backstage. Those are the last two.
Oh, really?
It says here the last in-house games in-house.
Okay, so this became
But
publishers.
then
Okay.
it also has Concordia, Agricola, and Le Havre, and so on. So
Yeah,
and
so they
those
just
are
become
not in
distributors.
I guess so.
They're just distributors now.
Yeah, they should
No,
reprint
great
it, but yeah, it is definitely.
In fact, in some ways, I don't want it to be reprinted because I really like the way it looks now.
Yeah,
So,
but just so other people can get it, Don't be selfish.
well, the expansion is not even available on eBay. So the expansion looks like it's virtually impossible to find. It's not even available on the Geek Store.
Yeah.
So I'm even
Yeah,
more happy
just
that I have the expansion.
there was on the forums there was a post saying any reprints. It was 6 months ago, and people just said no news. So as long as they're not selling the rights, nothing's gonna happen. So.
Yeah.
All right, so
But,
my
it's a
final game then
Mhm.
will make you very happy because it is our second crossover,
Ooh,
and
what
that
is it?
is Great Western Trail.
I'm surprised
So-
I was surprised it's one of them. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was 1839 and now 61, so it really went down, and also because of BGA. Because apparently some games I really don't like playing on BGA, and then it kind of messes with my feeling for those games. Like Super Fantasy Brawl is another one of those that doesn't really work all that well. But I know there's so many stories with Great Western Trail. Plays where I really remember what happened and everything because it's so memorable. I like hiring all the people to make those actions stronger, getting those bonuses, manipulating your hand so you get the right cows at the right time to go to Kansas with the expansion because it makes the train so much more interesting instead of just going around and then that's it. You can go to different cities, go to different tracks, score different points and bonuses.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be very good at the game, but I do really like it. And also I just like thinking, okay, you know what? This time I'm just gonna go full train, and then okay, next game, okay, this time I'm gonna do cows. No, this time I'm just gonna do buildings or just mix of everything, whatever. I also like getting the tokens like the Indians or the Native Americans. And the hazards, picking those up and everything, or placing them. Like when you reach Kansas, you also get to place several tokens, including hazards, to like mess with other people, things like that. So yeah, I think it's a really good game. I really want to try some of the other ones, the newer ones as well.
Yes.
But I'm just waiting for more reviews to make sure when I do eventually buy one of them, I know it's a good one. So it needs to marinate a little bit.
Do you have the first edition or the second edition of the base game?
Second edition, I think. I'm not
Prettier
sure.
one. The prettier cover.
Yeah. No. First edition. The weird cover.
Okay. Yeah. I
Because
just sold my old version too. I sold my old version and bought the new one.
The reason why I know I have the original version is because it was on my shelf of shame or overkill for 3 years before I played it. As every time I looked at the cover, I was like, no, maybe not. And then eventually I played it and was like, oh, this is so good. But the reason why I haven't bought the second edition is because I upgraded mine. I have like an insert, I have special bags, I have all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to.
I think also the second edition has a solo mode. Very good solo mode.
But I think you can also just print it from BGA, if I'm not mistaken. So or online, there's an app, I think that does it. But I haven't tried it.
Okay, good choice.
So finally,
2 crossovers.
2 crossovers. Yeah, 16 more to go, I guess. But with 16, it's a tie because I said less, you said more. So you need 17 more.
Maybe I was a little optimistic. We'll see.
Well, a fair number of them have already, We'll see. Because I think a lot of stuff we still like as well. And last year there were 18, and then I would imagine many of them will still be there. And then we played a bunch of new games together as well.
Yes.
So I don't think higher than 18 is...
I think I don't think it's gonna be 18 now. I have my doubts.
You want to make it you want to turn it to 28? Okay, 28 it is.
We shall see.
We shall see, yeah. Okay. We'll stop here. Next time we're going to reach half, because next time we're going to do 60 to 51, and then we'll be on the recipe of finally the good games to make the same old boring jokey game. Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching and listening. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.